Hello, and welcome to episode 146 that we finally got off the ground of the Schnozzcast. I'm your host, temporarily this week, Nick Bader, joined by our very special guest, Greg Gumtow, my faithful co-host, Cory, and live from Seattle, Washington, Mr. Todd Money Dillon. You may notice our good friend and host, Dr. Bob McGillicuddy-Rankin, is off on a lover's retreat this weekend. As you all know, he stopped drinking this month, so here's to hoping that him and his lady friend are making sweet, sober whoopee tonight. We miss you, buddy.
I hope you got that smooth my balls.
Yeah, I hope you got that too. So we're coming to you live from Whitmore Lake, Michigan tonight at a temporary location, so hopefully everything runs just as smoothly as it started and as smoothly as it does in the Schnozzcast studios. So starting off right away, if you guys haven't tried listening to us on any other platform, make sure to check us out in high-definition audio on iTunes, Podbean, Stitcher, Spotify, Pandora, Amazon Music, Audible, iHeartRadio, or anywhere you get your favorite podcasts. You can also like, follow, or subscribe to us on social media, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, all that great stuff at Schnozzcast. And don't forget, we do have an email. Bob is begging people to email us at schnozzcast@gmail.com. Or if you want to communicate with us during the show in real time, you can text us at 618-SHOCKER. The Shocker line. Baby! We might get that cut out by Arthur, but...
Arthur who?
Penn and Teller.
Arthur Penn and Teller.
If I keep calling him the wrong name, then he's not real.
Is that how that works?
The infamous Arthur Penn and Teller.
Yes. That's how I know him. So
Only people in Michigan are going to get that reference. Everybody else is like, who are they talking about?
I know. Hey, there's a lot of Michiganders out here. I know who they're talking about.
Todd, how are you, sir?
I'm doing awesome.
Awesome?
Awesome.
That's pretty fantastic. What are you drinking tonight, buddy?
I am drinking. I'm back on the Crown Apple for my shot, and I got my New Belgium Brewing's Voodoo Ranger V2K
Ooh.
IPA.
How is that?
It's fabulous. It's a little bit of light grapefruit and guava, so it's really, really nice.
Yeah, I picked up for tonight Pumpkin with no G ale by Dogfish Head Brewing Company. It's actually pretty good.
They make good beers.
Pretty good. They one of my favorite beers. If you ever want to spend a year one night, just get a couple of these 120-minute IPAs.
Yes.
That they can't even put an exact percentage on. They actually say this beer can be anywhere from 20 to 30% by volume for one beer. So I had half of one night, and it felt like I drank half of a fifth. But it was fantastic. It was a very nice buzz. So if you get a chance, check that out by Dogfish Head Brewing Company. Cory, you got anything for housekeeping, buddy?
Oh, I don't know. Just trying to calm myself down now after that rush to try and get everything ready.
Yeah.
Rush.
The rush.
Todd, I don't want to hear it.
A rush to be late?
Yeah. Story of his life. The rush to be late. God, he needs that tattooed somewhere.
I might have it tattooed somewhere already.
I have a feeling you're going to get it tattooed somewhere. You just haven't gotten around to it.
I'm working on it.
Yeah. Oh, my God. Well, moving right along. Does anybody have booze news for this week?
I have booze news.
What you got, Todd? Oh,
well,
hold on. Never mind. Hold on. Let me try and squeeze in there. And booze news.
That's nice.
And now it's time for booze news. There we go.
Nailed it.
Yeah, so my booze news is, and I actually saw it. I had to read about this because I'm like trying to figure. I think this will be great for young newlyweds out there, or people who aren't married but don't want to have kids. Male contraceptive bath device invented in Germany wins the Dyson Award. Male contraceptives have previously been rejected for several reasons, but Koso offers a user-friendly contraceptive that is easy to use without physical intervention, pain, or side effects. How about that?
Wow.
The industrial design graduate Rebecca Weiss has created a groundbreaking device, a testicular ultrasonic bath that could function as a method of male contraception. So basically, you
bath.
you teabag. Yes, you teabag a warm bowl, and it shoots ultrasonic pulses out, and it deters your sperm for 6 months.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's reversible, painless.
So
I'm just like, so do you like hang out in your living room while the boys are over watching football and you got your balls soaking? What are you doing? Why's your junk out? I'm soaking my balls so I don't make any babies.
I mean, according to this podcast, at any given point, you could be hanging out with your buddies and getting pegged in the next room, or ultrasonically dipping your balls in the next. So
this thing
what
actually
about a combination?
both at the same time.
Can you ultrasonically clean your balls while getting pegged?
Daniel's
it feels.
Corey, lower. Get him in that bowl.
Sometimes it's hard.
And then I'll slide in.
Sometimes it's hard to keep that arch in my back that she likes.
You fart again?
No, is it smell?
God, please
Is
don't.
it lingering?
It might be.
It's probably lingering.
Or I shit my pants.
Yeah.
Dudes, this thing won Dyson's Innovation Award. The Dyson engine, the Dyson vacuum company, they host innovation contests all the time, and this thing actually won an award this year. And so this thing is probably going to make it to market. So you guys will see lots of dudes hanging out in their living room, soaking their balls.
Yeah, what's
preventing babies.
How long? How long do they have to soak? And it's like, do you use your own vessel? Like, is it something that mounts the vessel, or does it actually come with?
It comes with it.
My bad.
Okay. That seems about right.
So there's a picture of it. It's called the COSO, COSO. There's a picture of it. It doesn't say how long it takes, but I think that it's going to be, since it's a warm, soothing bath. I mean, if it takes an hour all day, who cares?
Yeah. I'm sorry. It's just music filled our headphones of some rock music just blaring, and Corey's the only one hooked up to any device and the mixer, and he's just looking around the room like, where's that coming from?
I didn't look around there. I knew where it was coming from.
You just had this look. You didn't move.
I muted it.
That not very quickly.
I didn't expect to start playing. I thought I
Those
already had my
fucking
computer
Tin
muted.
Man arms took a while to get up to that computer.
I got it taken care of. No worries.
Anyways,
Yeah. So I'm sorry, Todd.
Todd, give that out again.
What am I giving out again?
What was the name of the thing?
The name is it's COSO, the COSO. COSO offers a user-friendly contraceptive approach that is easy to use without any kind of physical intervention, pain, or previously known side effects. New technologies only work. The male no swelling, no pain, just a nice warm bath with ultrasonic. That just sounds good, like ultrasonic. The pulsing water. Just teabagging a little bowl in your living room while you eat some Cheetos watching the game.
That sounds great.
Yeah. And no babies. And 6 months later, you either you get off the wagon or and start making babies, or you start all over again.
It's like, you know what? I'm gonna dip my balls again.
Greg seems to be all about this.
Yeah. How do you know? How do you figure out, like, oh, guess it wore off, had a baby again?
Yeah.
Honey, I think it's time for another dip.
It's your third one this month.
Yeah, really.
And if it works pretty quickly, that's the other thing too. I mean, right, now you're not carrying condoms around in your wallet that are prone to getting damaged. Now you just carry you put it in your fanny pack, take it with you. Hey, while we're getting hot and heavy, let my nuts soak for a little bit. And
I was gonna say, I feel like it'd be easier to still carry around a condom than carry around your nut soaking machine.
Your ultrasonic ball washer 3000.
I mean, would it though? Honestly,
Exactly.
I guess I'm wrong.
and
I guess I'm wrong.
and it's keeping you clean and sterile. So that's fantastic.
We should market a towel to dry your balls off, just specifically for this.
oh yeah, nice microfiber.
Yep. I bet you could sell a bunch. This could be a good idea, guys.
Is this? And you're getting upset at me for playing music.
That was you. That was you. It was me.
It's the music cast.
Yeah, that's true. But didn't Spotify say what was it that Bob had sent us about Spotify now saying that you can play music royalty free?
Yeah, but we're not streaming on Spotify right now.
Damn it.
So
we'll have to get on top of that.
Word.
Speaking of which, speaking of your balls.
Oh boy.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. This episode, this very smooth running episode, much like the smooth balls after being dipped in an ultrasonic pool, or after using some of the following. Smoothmyballs.com, body and below the belt grooming in a whole new ballgame. Smoothmyballs.com presents the Turf Chopper 3.0, which has premium alloy blades and is water resistant, so you can take it in the shower or the sink. Shaving your body and below the belt shouldn't be a task where you have to worry about nips and cuts. The Turf Chopper 3.0, some people don't like the name, features a no-scrape technology, so you never have to nip that sack again. For 20% off, you can use a promo code Schnozzcast, or if links are your thing, then you can go to smoothmyballs.com/Schnozzcast. Smoothmyballs.com, the perfect gear to upgrade your grooming routine and help you grab life by the balls. It's our sponsor.
My balls.
Yeah.
Smooth balls.
So I actually had something as well. So it says here that the Nightmare on Elm Street house is listed for $3.5 million.
that's it.
That's it.
Let's pool our money right now.
Corey, you want to go in and buy this?
Todd, you got a hundy on it?
I got a hundy.
Sweet.
I'm in for a hundy.
So it says October 21st, the Los Angeles home from the 1984 movie A Nightmare on Elm Street has been listed for sale in time for Halloween at an asking price of $3.5 million. The 3-bedroom Spalding Square house listed by reality agency Douglas Elliman was purchased previously for $2.1 in 2003 by Hustlers director Lauren Scafaria. The 2-story house served as protagonist Nancy Thompson's home in Wes Craven's classic slasher film and was the location of the character's final showdown with the iconic serial killer Freddy Krueger. It's so much fun bringing this house to market during this historic real estate inventory shortage. Really? Is there that much of a shortage? I mean, I know isn't it a seller's market?
It is, but there's a lack of housing.
So a lack of cars and a lack of housing.
Yes.
Wonderful. It says the house's appeal lies in more than its cinematic history, said the listing agent partner. This iconic house and ties to the movie stop as soon as you walk through the front door. Inside, it's a beautiful traditional style space with a modern twist. It's pretty cool, though.
I got a question to pose to you guys. Does it ever piss you off that when you watch like a movie or a series, that when you find out the inside of where they filmed, so basically like they used an exterior and then the inside looks nothing like that?
Like
the Brady Bunch house,
Seinfeld,
Cheers.
Friends,
Well,
Cosby
Cheers.
Show.
Yeah, basically every sitcom ever out there.
I was never upset until we went to Boston for a buddy of mine's bachelor party.
Cheers was not
And
Cheers.
Cheers, they're like, yeah, that's the bar for Cheers. I'm like, can we
Yeah,
go
the
in there?
bone
He's like,
fish.
yeah, it's not like it. And I'm like, what?
Dude.
He goes, it's just the outside is the only thing they used. Everything else was a sound stage. I'm like, what kind of stupid trickery is this? I'm not even. I'm so mad.
I more than agree. I'm very, especially like the Brady Bunch house, to come to find out that, or actually that and Married with Children.
Really?
The inside of that house, they said, is nothing, absolutely nothing like what it showed in the show.
Doesn't hurt my feelings.
I don't know if I told you guys. I think I did last week, but for those who didn't hear it, it said that in 1698, Peter the Great introduced a beard tax after he visited Western Europe and liked the fashion sense. Anyone with a beard was forced to pay a tax for it and in turn given a beard token. So if you were stopped by the police without a token, they would immediately shave your face on sight.
Sounds like some guards are gonna die. I'm about
Yeah.
to throw down.
Yeah.
I was gonna say it's a bit much.
No, you need that now, Corey.
Need that now?
Yeah.
A beard token, or
I
have
would
my beard
love the
shaved?
authorities to have the ability to come up to you at any time and be like, where's your beard token?
I left it at home in my locker. It's at work.
And just legally be able to just done. Like someone teaching you some hard justice. I would love to see that.
I definitely would not.
I know, because it's like your pride and joy. Luckily,
Exactly.
Luckily, tomorrow by 5, you'd grow it back again. So
And shaving it with the Smooth Balls 3000 weed chopper.
Oh,
yeah,
don't worry about the hair that's already in there.
the Turf Chopper 3.0.
That's it.
Yeah, I'm not sure what Todd said, but it was close. It was close enough. So that is booze news for this week.
I've got something for you guys.
Oh, what you got?
Oh boy.
I will give credit where credit's due. Bob did send these over in knowing that he was going to be absent today. But he found this gentleman on TikTok, Frankie LaPena. And when I opened up the videos, I was pretty shocked myself, but I did get a good chuckle out of them, so I'd like to share them with you guys.
Yeah, go ahead.
So here we go.
Gad.
So this one is...
You know, this guy's competing with me, right?
This guy is?
Everyone is.
Well, I mean, yeah, you are the biggest TikTok star that we've ever
That you know.
discovered.
Yes. It's the biggest TikTok star we ever talked to.
Here we go.
Well,
This
second
is-
biggest.
So,
I don't know if you can turn up the volume here.
It looks like it's muted
Oh.
on the right side.
It's because we were playing some kind of rock music.
and now it doesn't want to play.
It's playing.
It's mute.
that
It's
sounds
hey, who's got the cursor?
I do.
Move to the right.
I see
No,
what you're saying.
And for those listening, we apologize because
Now I hear it.
There we go. So he goes to a football game while on a Zoom call and has his laptop hooked up
Two greens.
to to this harness, and he has a green screen behind him, and you get to see the results of what his meeting looks like.
That's deep.
yeah. So for those who can't see, for the audio listeners, he's got a PVC, some sort of like
Rig.
some sort of rig that's like almost like a band uniform would carry drums, like a marching band. But instead of some drums in front of you that are suspended, it's his laptop. And then he has a green screen that is also part of the gig, circle green screen that covers completely behind his head, wrapped around his waist. And inside his Zoom call at work, he's got a background of his house set up. So no one knows he's
Did you see
actually
the
at a football
screen?
game.
Did you see the screen? Did you see his screen too? The other thing is he's got a camera mounted to the top of his laptop as well.
There was another one I saw a guy go down a water slide.
No, hang on, buddy.
Oh, we got
Let's
more.
not get too far ahead of
Oh,
ourselves
oh.
here.
What you got?
We're gonna mute this one because this one does have some copyrighted music. But here we go. So this one, same idea. He's at a meeting at home, but he decides to go on a water slide.
How does his laptop survive it?
I'm very sure the laptop did not survive, or at least I would
goes
have
out.
to guess.
Is the same guy?
Yeah.
Yeah. But the results are pretty nice.
Well, this guy's PVC game is pretty. I'll give it to him for his PVC game because I've been recently working with PVC myself, engineering some cool haunts for my chickens.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Some haunts for your chicken.
yeah. Well, some roosts. My chickens are too big, too small to get on the roosts in the coop, so I've engineered some PVC roosts for them.
Ooh. Any photos?
Not yet. I'll have them ready for next time.
Greg, I also would like you to give a shout out to Katie.
It's Katie for the wonderful bread that she gave us.
Yeah.
That was very nice of her. There's some cornbread up there, which I'm kind of eyeballing right now.
Thanks, Katie.
Todd, we'll enjoy it on your behalf.
Yes, we'll send you pictures of us eating it later on.
Yeah, we'd be having it.
Yes. But yeah, no, she said that, she said, hey, tell Nick, here's the bread I keep talking about. Enjoy it. So she sent me with some bread over here.
Yeah, it looks like if you check out the Schnozzcast, or ooh, Jesus,
Schnozzcast.
the Schnozzcast
Ooh,
Facebook.
Schnozzpass.
We could have a Schnozzpass
I like
for
it.
special guests.
I like it.
I'm sorry, do you have your
Where's the
Schnozzpass?
Schnozzpass?
To get in Nick's backyard, you need the Schnozzcast.
Anyone that's following the Schnozzpass Facebook page, you can see the bread that we're talking about. It looks awesome. And And Greg, can you just let everyone know that's anyone that's local where they can get it?
They are in Plymouth. It's at Boole Artisan Bakery.
And that's hers, right?
Yes.
Yeah, she owns it.
Yes, she does.
I will. So I'm going to send Cory the picture. At this point in time, I will go ahead and kick off the haunt for this October, which will be over here pretty soon. So I'm kind of sad. So this week's the haunt for this October. It says that the Doherty Hotel in Clare, Michigan. The Doherty, Cory, it's on Facebook, by the way, so just check it out there. The Doherty Hotel in Clare, Michigan. The Doherty family has owned and operated this hotel since it opened in the 1920s. The Doherty men were and remain the business managers. However, as Jim Doherty, current owner, tells it, it was the Doherty women who were the heart and soul of the business. The hotel has a colorful history. During Prohibition, it was a speakeasy, a place for backroom gambling and adult entertainment. It was also a meeting place for the Mafia and the Purple Gang. Oh, man, not the Purple Gang.
Clarifying question.
Yes, sir.
What is adult entertainment?
Well, I think if you refer to last week's podcast, someone was able to define some of the adult entertainment that we are so talking about. I think the word a noose came up several times.
Todd's eyes were just
He's like
opened last week.
He's like, oh, I don't know what this pegging thing is. Hold on, let me. Oh,
Ooh.
sliding into the man's anus, and he's like, oh wow.
Who knew this was an educational program?
Yeah, and we'll tell you later that there were several listeners that we've heard of after the fact that were in the same boat with you. Some of which who were surrounded by older friends of theirs who had no clue what it was and needed to be explained. So that was a very awkward conversation. But it says this hotel has a colorful history during the Prohibition speakeasy, blah, blah, blah. So here they worked out their differences. In 1938, the hotel was a site of one of Michigan's most notorious murders, Isaiah Leibov. Isaiah Leibov, of course. Everyone's heard of that. Former Purple Gang attorney turned Purple Gang businessman was murdered in the bar. He was shot dead by his cousin and business partner, Jack Livingston, maybe of Livingston County. Over the years, there have been numerous yet vague accounts of this haunting. Some believe Isaiah Leibov may still remain, along with his family matriarch Helen or Grandma Doherty. The evidence we collected was startling. Perhaps the most surprising evidence was recorded in a back room where Grandma Pemble's body was placed after death.
Not the Pembles.
Yep, the Pembles, the Livingstons, the Bebobs, everybody. Leibov, whatever. In this area, it says this back area where her body was once placed, the voice of a woman was recorded. It was soft and feeble, as if she was either very old or very sick. The words were in response to questions asked. We believe it was the voice of Helen's grandmother, her Helen Grandma Doherty. So that is the haunt for this October, for this week, the Doherty Hotel in Clare. So go check it out. There's all kinds of stories online of apparitions and disembodied voices, if that's what you're into. I don't know. I just peed a little bit when I read that, so I won't be going. But you can. Moving right along.
Before we do that,
Yeah.
you went to Eloise with your dad and brother.
I did.
We didn't cover that last episode, did we?
The insane asylum.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. So
I used to live next to that.
did you really?
I did.
Live
when I was
at
a
it
kid.
or live next to it?
When I was a young kid, we lived in the housing projects over in that area in Inkster. It's probably less than a mile and a half away.
All right. Wow.
Well, it was still active when you were there, right, Todd?
It was they had just closed it down because we used to sneak over there. There's like a retaining pond over there. We used to get pollywogs. I remember getting almost strangled to death by my mom when she came home to find 10,000 pollywogs swimming around in our bathtub because we were going to grow and sell frogs for money.
That's one way to do it.
But yeah, we used to sneak in there all the time, and there's that's actually again one of those like we were talking about that. What's the when you don't say people's names, like the Candyman or whatever 3 times. I was there once when someone I still don't say the name. this thing where I totally got freaked out. There was all manner. That's definitely a haunted spot.
Oh yeah, well, and the reason I brought it up because Danielle and I did a tour through it before it was a haunted house. DPX that we had on the podcast, they're the ones that hosted the tours originally, and we were able to go through at night and walk through for 2 hours. So I wanted to, after going through when it was basically presented as a abandoned asylum, I wanted to hear Nick's input on what he thought about the haunted house that they've opened there now.
I did that too. That was fun.
The asylum?
Yeah. I didn't do the
Yes.
haunted house. I did the thing last year. Yeah.
So Cory and Greg did the actual walkthrough, and we we went ahead and did the actual. They've spent about $2 million and turned it into a theatrical haunted house, a haunted house within a haunted house, if you will. Dude, it was great. It was awesome. If you haven't done it, it's a little pricey. One of the more pricier haunted houses. I think it was about $50 or something like that. But it did last 45 minutes. We were able to go through 2 different levels. Be prepared. We were there on a Sunday. I think they're actually open through November. But we were there on a Sunday, and they had giant wedding tents set up, food trucks, all kinds of stuff. I mean, it is absolutely commercialized on the outside, but very cool. They have, purple lights casting up at the building, and, they made it a point, even though it's a 45-minute to an hour line, it moved along very quickly. They've got bathrooms set up along the line. You're actually on the property surrounded by the wrought iron fence, so it's kind of a cool experience. And before you go in on the antique looking staircase going up, the cement staircase with the different designs in the stone and all that stuff. It's really cool opportunity for a photo, but everyone's moving along, so normally you wouldn't think we have time to stop. But they have someone working the door, and they specifically, even though they're working the door very quickly, each person that comes up, they go, "Did you want a picture?" "Yep." "Give me your phone." And so they let you get up and line up on the stairs in front of the main entrance of Eloise with the purple lights and everything. And they just very happily snap pictures of everyone on your own phone, no charge, and then they let you go in. Super cool.
Did you know when you go up those stairs, if you're looking at them, just to the right, there's actually a door that you can gain entry to the entire building, except for the third, because the asylum started on the 3rd floor. So you were able to gain entry through this little door right next to those stairs. I mean, dude, I would assume there's more than just that one little door because this place is huge. It was a mental hospital.
It's huge.
It
is
huge. It's not one building.
Yeah. My stepdad used to investigate the deaths there. So he was in charge. He investigated mental health abuse and neglect cases, and Eloise was a frequent stop.
Okay.
Yeah,
you said your uncle investigated that?
No, my stepdad.
Your stepdad, dude. So what years did he work there?
I couldn't tell you. I can probe him on it, but I remember that like it was yesterday. Like I said, I lived near to it, and he did a lot of work there.
Because basically, and I'm sure you heard plenty of stories. But yeah, a lot of the deaths were just the people died. That's just how it goes.
I mean, we did the walkthrough. They're like, "Oh, you're gonna see this. You might see this kind of stuff." I really was more worried about the homeless people that could have possibly popped out, as opposed to seeing any kind of phenomenon going on there.
They do a very good thorough walkthrough. When we went for our walkthrough with DPX, there were several Wayne County guys there.
Oh, it was just here's your 10 people. Here, go and follow this one person.
Oh, really? Yeah. No, this when we walked in, they had a booth and everything set up where you checked in at. There was 4 or 5 Wayne County cars in the parking lot the entire time we were there. And
I don't know if it was last year. What was the first year they did it? Was it last year?
No, it was a couple years ago.
I think we went the first year. I'll have to.
Honestly, if I looked up a picture, I'd be able to tell you guys. Yep. But no, that's cool, man. I'm glad you guys had a good time and were able to see it and experience it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it's so much different than what you remember, just because, like I said, they did an article about it, and they spent about $2 million on special effects, and it showed. I mean, I've never seen, like, imagine the most realistic Halloween full body dummies and props that you can think of, with, you know, individual hairs on the head and the faces, you know, touched up, you know, very lifelike. There were hundreds of those, and I'm like, these are like thousands of dollars each. And
That shit's not cheap.
it was all over the place. Not only did they do that, but they built, like, instead of just walking through an asylum, like they made it look better than what it was, because it's like a movie set. Instead of like, oh, we're gonna have you, you know, the place where we store the bodies is completely on the other side of the hospital. You know, it wouldn't make any sense to be parading people way down there. We want to stay in this one section.
Right.
So they built it up, and it's really cool to one point where, you know, I won't give away any spoilers, but you're walking through a morgue. You walk into, you know, a couple laboratories, and I mean, they extensively went into detail. Very, very cool. A lot of special effects. I would definitely say that it beats out Erebus now as far as special effects go.
Really?
Yeah.
That says a lot, because Erebus
Yeah.
has been one of the biggest,
Forever. Like
biggest
15
haunted
years.
houses around.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. There was actually this like muscle bound black dude that was behind us with his girlfriend, and they were sending people in like groups of 5, and so they were like part of. They just happened to be behind us, and they sent us in at the same time. And man, oh man, I could not focus on the haunted house because this guy was wigging out. I mean, wigging. Oh shit! Oh fuck! Oh shit! Oh shit! This guy is huge. You know, his arms are the size of my legs, and it was just absolutely hysterical. His girlfriend was laughing, and he was just so to the point where they take you out of the first stage of the haunted house, and you walk down some old stairs, and then they funnel you through like the basement version of it. And
She's likely pegging him tonight.
Oh, for sure.
Well, it would have been pretty tight after that haunted house. That's all I'm gonna say. But so we were going through the second half, and you just saw this, you know, hangdog kind of look on his face, you know, just this upset puppy face, and my dad turns around and he's like, hey buddy, he's like, first of all, at first, you know, I was slightly terrified. He's like, and it wasn't until I started watching you that he's like, it took my mind off stuff, but it was in a good way. He said, so as far as Eloise is concerned, the second time we go around, you're with us. And he's like, okay, thanks. And man, we got to the end. There was this one final thing at the end that I won't give away, but it was a pretty impressive, scary ordeal, and it was something that you had to pass. One of the things I can say is, like most haunted houses, they had a section that was a bridge, like a steel bridge with handles. And basically the effect is that they have like a cylinder shape that goes around the bridge, almost like a projection screen. And they have lights and lasers going in one direction, and the actual cylinder spins in the next. Well, it doesn't sound that fantastic, but when you're in the moment, it throws off your equilibrium, and it basically feels like the bridge and the room are spinning in 360s upside down. So everyone gets to the bridge, and they just fall to their knees. They grab onto the, oh my God, you know. My dad wouldn't move, and I actually warned him before going through. I'm like, hey, you're probably going to want to hold on to the handles. He's like, what? And he, like a cat going into a bathtub, he clung onto these handles, and I'm like pushing him. We got hundreds of people behind us. I'm like, go. He's like, we're spinning upside down. Like, we are not spinning upside down. Go. And I didn't even have to turn around to hear our friend go through, because I heard, oh, hell no. So I just had tears coming out of my eyes the whole entire time. But when we got to the end, he had to go past this like curtilage to get through. And it was something super scary. And he kind of did one of those like, nope, like running on the battlefield, like all your friends have gone forward and you're going, come on, let's go. And he's just shaking his head. No. And we're like, you got to. And finally he must have meant business because he took off his backwards hat and he got into like a linebacker stance and he just booked it, just screaming at the top of his lungs. And we got out, and I just told him, I said, man, I couldn't have paid for that, a better experience. And even though I wanted to be scared the whole time, like, I've never laughed this much in a long time. He's like, oh, that's cool, man. So, yeah, I would highly recommend going if you haven't checked it out yet. Westland, Michigan, Eloise Psychiatric Hospital.
I do know there's enough golf balls in there to last a lifetime. Yeah,
from you and your retard friends?
No comment on that.
No?
But there are golf balls
yeah,
in the back section.
So if you want to get a hold of him, anyone from Eloise, that's Greg Gumtow, Dearborn Heights, Michigan. So moving along, let's go ahead and do a Schnozzcast shot. What'd you say you're doing tonight, Todd? What's your shot?
Crown Apple, man. This is my new. You guys are doing the Fireball. My Crown Apple's my mainstay now.
Yeah, we're.
It's a much better choice.
Last week I was mixing it up a little bit, but I didn't have time this week, so I just grabbed the old Fireball. So cheers.
Salute. Machu Picchu.
Oh, and real quick too, let me put up this picture for everyone that we're talking about the bread from Katie.
Mm-hmm.
Just so everyone can get a quick peek.
Oh yeah,
look at that top.
Nice. Thanks, Katie.
When you come into town, just let me know.
Dude, Todd, no. See, that's where you say, no, I have a home address and it can be shipped.
I'm like, yeah, exactly.
Just send the helicopter out. I'll put it in there.
There you go.
I'll send it right back.
It doesn't even have to land. It just
little
grabber.
Exactly. Yep. Drop the line down. Send it back.
Drop the old paramedic slab.
Yep.
Just set it right on that.
Here's a bread basket. Throw it in there. Let's go.
Todd's helicopter came fully equipped with a bread basket.
With a bread basket.
Might as well.
Okay, so moving right along. So I've just been informed by my co-host here that there's no Funko this week. He is trying to save up for a wedding, so we give him credit for that.
That's fair.
Yeah.
We'll let this one slide. Don't let it happen
and the one that Danielle got this week, I did not have a chance to take a picture of it, but you will be a fan, sir.
I'll be a fan of it?
Oh, yeah. And unfortunately, she bought it, so I'm not able to give it away.
You know what I'm not a fan of? Fucking Princess Leia sitting in my basement still.
Well, that was meant for him to take home.
Take that fucking shit home. This is not going to be a catch-all for Funkos at my house.
Just start putting random Funkos around the house, see if Nick notices.
Right.
See how long it takes them.
After several more weeks, it's going to be used as a candle if I need it. So,
just so you know, Stanley is holding up Mace Windu in my collection.
Nice. That's what I like to hear.
So we're going to do a little bit of some 100 questions here, a little bit different than the ones we've done before, and then maybe go on a break, or we can come back and do gentleman's agreement. So we'll go around the room. Todd, what did you grow up believing about Santa Claus? What was your childhood belief of Santa?
He was real for. Man, I can't remember. I struggle to remember the age where I realized that it definitely wasn't real because I was finding the presents pre-wrapped. So I'd say he was. My parents didn't divulge anything until I'd say probably I was 8 or 9 or whatever. Until I figured out that. So maybe I was a late bloomer. But yeah, he was real.
I think that's about right. So you figured it out.
Yeah, because there's one. I think like at my 9th birthday or whatever, I asked for a bike, and there was like no. And I think my dad struggled to get it together because he of course he didn't pay for the for them to put it together at the store. So he was like working. He's working on it through the night, and like it didn't have the brake cables were connected. It's like Santa got it to this far, and I'm like, yeah, I already saw that dude, and I saw it I saw the box in the closet.
I know we've talked about when we, and we don't necessarily have to go around with this one because I know we touched on it before, but we did talk about, when you discovered Santa wasn't real. And because I remember telling you guys that the only way I figured it out is because my dad and Santa had the same handwriting. So that was the only way on the presents that I was able to figure it out. So, Cory, did you ever play an instrument in school, and what was it?
I did. It was called the record. Well, I shouldn't say I did. I faked it, but it was the recorder.
You faked it?
Never learned how to play it.
So when everyone was playing,
Just move your fingers and make it look like you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
I think there was maybe 6 kids in the class that actually did learn how to play it, and everyone else was basically just doing what I did.
But could you imagine the cacophony of those toots and whistles going on? Like, I don't think anyone is you could completely just fake it and blow into it, and they'd be like, "Oh, okay, they're just students learning the recorder."
Yeah, but at that age, you're like, "Well, they're going to know."
You should be better than this,
Right?
I'm surprised he didn't come up to you, like each student, and say, "Oh, Matthew, could you play Mary Had a Little Lamb?" Okay, Cory, hopscotch bun,
Hopscotch bun,
or what is it?
hot cross buns.
Hot cross buns? Is that what it is? Yes. I thought it was hopscotch.
Oh my
buns.
goodness! Like Arthur Penn and Teller. What is this dude? What's going on?
That's what I understand it as.
Have you ever listened to this song?
No,
Really not.
no, I haven't.
Hopscotch buns.
Dude, it cannot beat your piggy tail. So
That's an honest mistake.
no, it's not. You still use it.
No, Bob uses it all the time.
Oh yeah, Cory was trying to piggyback off something, and he said he's going to
I said piggy tail.
He's going to piggy tail off of it, and he had the most sincere conviction, a look on his face. And
I meant that.
so Bob loves it now. Bob piggy tails on everything now.
And it's funny you mentioned that, though, because looking back on it, I don't think our teachers really cared if we did actually learn or not.
Uh-huh.
They were probably fed up with it enough themselves that they didn't want to listen to us individually.
That's fair.
Yeah, they were probably
I
like,
have to
fuck these
imagine.
kids. Them and their recorders.
There's always 3 or 4 overachievers. They'll take up for everybody.
Right, put a group of 15 of them up there. It'll sound okay.
I mean, I don't want to lay into any teachers, but being like a elementary school music teacher that has to just be, or a band teacher or whatever, I mean, does anyone have any high expectations? Like, are they going to come in and be like, Flight of the Bumblebee right now? Like, I don't think that's going to happen. I think they're going to come in and it's going to be like, free. They're going to be like, this is the best I got out of them. So I don't know. I mean, I think that'd be a great job if you really wanted to fake it. But so Greg, your question is, what was your most embarrassing haircut?
I shaved my head.
Oh, come on. Shaved your head.
I had a funny shaped head. Still
Okay.
do.
Shaving your head is not an embarrassing haircut.
I mean, it can be.
If you have an oddly
I
shaped
guess
nugget,
it depends
it can
on,
be.
to me, that was the most embarrassing. Maybe to other people, maybe the horns.
Yeah, if you have a bad nugget, that makes sense to me, Greg. I'm with you.
So to me, shaving my head, that was probably the worst. But like somebody that I guess somewhat knows me would be like, you remember when you had the horns? That's got to be pretty embarrassing. I never felt embarrassed when I had that up.
You loved the horns.
I
though.
loved them. That's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
you shaved
I
your
loved
head
them.
into horns.
That's why I shaved my head every time afterward. Is maybe it was the shame of shaving off my horns that I was like, oh, this is embarrassing.
The shame of shaving him off.
Yeah.
Yeah. We had a guy that we worked with that shaved his head all the time, and I guess I could kind of wrap my brain around what you're talking about because I've never seen this before in my life, but he had an egg head. Like the smallest, pointiest part of the egg was at the back of his. It was like a cone egg.
My little brother. As an adult, it takes everything in my power not to grab the back of my little brother's head.
It was like
It was very, yeah.
it was pointy.
Oh,
All
yeah.
right, so we'll go to me on this one. When did you get drunk for the first time? We can go around on this one too. So for me, drunk the first time was I think it was 19 in Canada. That was the first time because I always wanted to be in law enforcement and I just didn't want to mess around with booze and all that stuff, to the point where I had friends that, I'd go to parties and people would be like, come on, man, why don't you? And the people that knew me would leave him alone. He doesn't drink. So But yeah, then I never looked back after that. So, Todd, how about you, buddy?
First time, I can't remember how old I was, but I was in grade school, and my best friend at the time, he and I found our way. We found our way into a bottle of vermouth.
Oh God!
And I think that we were drunk because we threw up. I mean, I don't recall like we were doing anything crazy other than getting sick as a dog, although it could have been because the vermouth was probably like 18 years old.
No, you threw up because you were drinking just vermouth. I don't know if anyone in history has ever done that.
Yeah, you're not supposed to do that.
It's
No, you're supposed to. They literally make like little tiny spray bottles for martinis to just spray the top of the vodka with vermouth. Like that's the little amount you're supposed to put in. I mean, it is a wine, but it's very, I mean, most of the time, unless it's sweet vermouth, I mean, it's very dry. So I can't imagine, I mean, oh God, just drinking vermouth.
we threw up like nobody's business too.
I don't doubt it.
Like I said, I don't know if it was because of the alcohol or because it was like 1,000 years old.
that's disgusting.
How about you, Greg?
I don't remember the first time I got drunk. It was in my early 20s. It's kind of I didn't really start drinking until I was 21, 22.
Yeah,
it had to be probably 22-ish, maybe.
Uh-huh.
But I don't recall. I mean, I remember the first time I ever threw up, but I don't remember the first time I got drunk.
Well, yeah, throwing up is, I mean, you can throw up as a kid.
Well, from drinking.
Yeah, from drinking alcohol.
from
That's why I list my vermouth incident.
So I don't remember the first time throwing up from booze. I remember drinking in Canada. I don't know if I really ever got drunk. And then at 21, definitely remember getting drunk. But I remember throwing up from several different kinds of booze. Horribly enough, SoCo. Ooh. SoCo was disgusting.
Are you telling me I should bring over some SoCo next week?
No.
I have so much of it at my house.
It's so disgusting.
I think I mentioned that. I hadn't had Southern Comfort until maybe 10 or 15 podcasts ago because that is the one booze that it's made me sicker than I've ever been in my life.
Yes.
I feel like that's everybody's first time. Every time they're like, oh, what do you drink? I'm like, I like Southern Comfort and Dr. Pepper. And they go, oh, and they give you that look.
That is pretty true because that SoCo is my first spring break.
Everybody is like, oh, that's disgusting. I threw up on that. I'm like, well, if I stopped drinking everything that I threw up on, I probably wouldn't drink.
Right.
So I guess
I will say this too, SoCo, and we can shift gears to that. Like, what is your end all be all most disgusting booze? Don't want to go back to it ever. And we can lead with that. And I will say that I would probably even go back to SoCo before this one. Bacardi Orange. Bacardi O. That orange.
yes, the orange O.
Oh my God.
They don't make that anymore, do they?
I hope not.
It's
I'm
been
sure they
years.
do.
No, dude, there's been a long time since I've seen any of that.
It was, I mean, they had the Limone and all that stuff, but the Bacardi O, and you have to think about it, like, theoretically, you know, if you really think about it, the things that you threw up on at one point in time, I mean, they must be doing something right because it must have tasted really good at some point, unless it was like, you know, you were too young and someone bought it or didn't want it and that was all you had. But for the most part, you would think, well, I just drank too much of this because it was so delicious at the time.
Yep, it has been discontinued.
Oh, thank God.
So here's the funny thing about that specifically Bacardi Orange and all these other things. So I worked for Bacardi. One of my first jobs out of college, my second job after graduating from college was actually being a Bacardi salesperson.
No shit.
Tons of funny stories around that.
That's how he killed Bob Probert.
It is.
Who?
Todd did. Todd is responsible.
I'm responsible for getting Bob Probert kicked out of Michigan. That's another story for another day. But anyway, when I was there, the Captain Morgan's was brand new, and Bacardi swore that they would never ever taint their lines. It was Bacardi Light, Bacardi Dark, Bacardi Black, Bacardi Añejo. And then they had the Castillo line where they experimented with a spice drum. And so they had the light, dark, and all that. But they at that point, they were like, we will never, ever taint the Bacardi brand with flavorings. That was the last thing they were going to do. They were going to use some of their sub brands that they owned to do that. But now it's funny, after Smirnoff did 87 flavors of vodka, they freaking sold out too and made a bunch of crap booze. And I think the funnier thing is the only people that to this day I still believe that Castillo Spice, their sub rum, was and is still 10 times better than Captain Morgan's, and they never ever actually put a marketing plan behind it because they didn't want to siphon off sales from the main Bacardi line. Mm-hmm. And the interesting thing is Bacardi spiced rum is horrible. It's not even close to as good as either Castillo or any of the Captain Morgans.
To me, Captain Morgan was kind of an acquired taste, and in my adult life, I still drink it sparingly, but I now
have the Captain Morgan tattoo. That's actually that's their silver bullet.
Who has the tattoo?
They have a brand, Captain Morgan Spiced Rum Tattoo.
Okay.
Is that their dark rum?
It's the dark spiced rum, and it is
because my mom's a huge fan.
Fabulous.
Bacardi. What's Bacardi's version of that?
Bacardi Black. So that's actually the drink that got Bob Probert and I so drunk he had his teeth out, and I was trying to tell him that Bob Essenza sucked ass. We were drinking Bacardi Black and cranberry juice called Bat Bites. So again, with the holiday theme, we were at the bar next to St. Andrews. We were in St. Andrews, tearing it up, drinking Bacardi Black and cranberries. Bat Bites, baby.
Wait, so you were drinking with Bobby Probert, and we've never talked about this on the podcast?
Well, sports. So
I don't think this is really sports.
No, it's not. There's no sport in drinking.
But
there's I don't think there's too much of a sports aspect to this story from what I can remember.
Yeah.
Todd
unfortunately
ending
I unfortunately got Bob to step off the wagon.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And to this day, Todd's proud of it. It's weird.
I'm kidding.
Was it were you representing Bacardi at the time, or did you know?
I was. Actually, we were doing a bar promotion. At St. Andrews, and that night, in fact, I had negotiated really good, favorable drink prices for Bacardi Black and cranberries and Bacardi Light and lemonades, and we were doing this huge thing. And the owner was at the table. He was talking about how much money he was making because I dumped him half a pallet of free booze, and he was still charging like $4 a drink. But anyway, Probert came into the bar with his entourage, and he stepped away, and he came back. He introduced him to us, and and I'm like, hey, anything you want or anybody in your group wants, it's on me all night long. And it's like, oh no, I'm not drinking. And so I started funding the drinking for everybody in his entourage. But then after I'd had a couple, I was in his ear about Bob Essenza and the Wings and why they sucked, and he's like, you don't know shit about hockey, and one thing led to another, and 4:30 in the morning, we're freaking both rip-roaring drunk. He's got his teeth out, and he's like, I've never ever met a black guy who knows one thing about hockey, and he goes, I still haven't, even though he goes, it is funny you talking about Bob Essenza. And anyway, we both left the bar about 4:30 a.m. and the first thing I see when I get up in the morning, Bob Probert rides his motorcycle into traffic, drunk, and says, "Give me the usual," and he was banished to.
Oh my God!
Chicago.
So that was from you.
So one of the funnier things is, the cool thing about this story is, tons of witnesses, because before he got drunk, my wife is at the table getting Bob Probert to sign like every napkin she could scurry from the bar. Can you sign this for my brother? Can you sign this for my cousin?
Bring over napkin after napkin.
He's like signing napkin after napkin after napkin for like everybody that we knew.
That's awesome. Does she still have some of those napkins?
I have not seen one.
Oh, dude,
that'd be cool.
I have not seen one.
That'd be an awesome keepsake.
Like I said, I was during that. My Bacardi days were actually pretty fun because I actually got to get into a lot of bars that you wouldn't normally get into. Hang out with a lot of people I wouldn't. I mean, I've got a great Dennis Rodman story, a great Andre Ware story. Dallas Drake and I used to tear it up at the Ultimate Sports Bar. So that was a pretty awesome 2 years that I spent with Bacardi.
Most prestigious bar or club that you were able to get into that you never would have been able to had it not been for that job?
I'd say St. Andrews. I mean, ultimately that's
really? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, because ultimately that fills up, and to get in and actually get VIP treatment and be able to move about the bar and hang out in the VIP sections. I mean, I was in there many times with most of the Pistons. I actually hung out with Vinnie Johnson a couple times up in some of the VIP spaces there.
So we're going to go ahead and take a 15-minute break. If you guys are listening to the audio version of the podcast, you don't have to do anything. We're just going to cut it, and we'll be right back with you. If you're listening to us on YouTube or watching us on live right now as we live stream, we'll be back in 15 minutes. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to go anywhere. And we'll be back with Todd Dillon and his Bacardi belligerents coming back in about 15 minutes. Back half, the business end of episode 146 of the Schnozzcast. Once again, I'm Nick, joined by Cory.
Oh, hey.
And our good friend Greg, who just had to drain the vein a little bit.
He couldn't do it during the break?
And Mr. Todd Dillon couldn't have came at a better time. Words out of my mouth. You would think, but he was very excited to taste my meat. So
the meat was delicious.
It was.
There we go.
Yeah, we have all kinds of good boar's head, salsalito, chipotle, chicken breast, and boar's head corned beef, thinly cut corned beef. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff for some mile highs here, and I was just letting them taste a couple of them. They're pretty fucking good. So,
did you get any of that boar's head London broil?
No, what is that? Just the beef? Is that beef?
Yeah, it is their beef, and it's the London broil. It's seasoned. It's really, really nice.
So I didn't try that, but I did get the corned beef. And
love it.
Dude, they cut this corned beef, and you know how wide a corned beef is, and instead of cutting it into like two pieces, they just cut long strips. And
nice.
It's like if you were to join two pieces of lunch meat together lengthwise, and just these long, giant strips of corned beef that taste just like St. Patrick's Day. And
yeah, boy,
I got the extra hot boar's head horseradish sauce, some Swiss, and marble rye that may as well go out the window because now we have fresh from a bakery marble rye from our good friend Katie.
Thanks, Katie.
Thanks, Katie.
She's going to go back and watch this, and she's just going to shake her head when she looks at me. She's gonna be like, what is wrong with you guys?
Like, it took me this long to spend all my hard-earned time and money on you motherfuckers. Now I got to send things to Washington.
Word.
Yes. Yes, Katie.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do, Katie.
Or we'll choreograph the next time Mr. Dillon comes back into town, which I think you said is going to be the next couple of months, right? Yeah.
December.
Yeah, December.
Yeah. Well, Chris Kringle.
Yeah, we got to get the flight plans approved, and you should probably start knocking on your neighbors' doors.
Letting them know.
Oh, boy.
He's back
What
again.
is that? Oh, that's Todd.
The neighbor's like, oh, damn it, he's back.
The noise is back.
Yeah. Flies in on a helicopter to sleep on a 30-year-old futon. Oh, man. So we can either come back to the stories of Todd and the people he knows.
No.
We
I
can,
was like, we can say this for
we can either
day.
come back to that, or we can move on to a little bit of gentleman's agreement.
I like that. I like that idea.
Okay. I actually don't have OneNote on my new phone, so I don't know who assigned what, so you guys are going to have to help me out a little bit. But I know Bob is big with Todd going first, so we're going to switch it up a little bit, and we're gonna let Greg go first this time.
Ooh,
Nice.
me.
I love it.
Greg, what did you have, man?
So Todd gave me Silicon Valley.
That son of a bitch.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah? Was that the end of it?
I'm watching Cory.
Oh, gauge him, yeah. Let me, on behalf of Greg, let me just say this.
Just give me half.
Just give me a halfie.
Yeah.
I had Silicon Valley from Mr. Todd Dillon there. So I was kind of after the first episode watching. I'm like, this is gonna drag.
30-second synopsis. What is it?
Okay,
What is
so
it about?
basically it's a comedy. It's a think tank group. Calls it an incubator. Silicon Valley tech guys come up with apps. They stay in a room. Guy comes up with an app. Big company wants to take it over. Gets into a bidding war. Decides to go with something different. And that's about what I've gotten to so far. Mm-hmm. It's just been a bumbling.
It's a tech guys series, techie series. Again, it's Silicon Valley. It's a startup in San Francisco.
Yep. So I started watching. I gotta say, man, I'm hooked at this point. I've actually burned through 3 seasons.
Really?
I'm 3.5 seasons into it. I started watching it yesterday morning. While I'm at work, I usually have something in the background, so I put that on in the background, and I had to turn it off because I'm like, I kind of want to watch this. I mean, it's got T.J. Miller in it, who's hilarious. It is a Mike Judge. I think he kind of like helped write it or produce it, but it is great so far. I'm like I said, I'm about 3.5 seasons into it already.
The Guilfoyle, and I can't. Unlike Bob, I can't repeat the lines word for word. But that Guilfoyle, the Guilfoyle, where he asks whenever he has to interview for their job, and he goes, "What do you do?" And he looks like he goes, "That's what the fuck I do."
Some of the stuff, it's great. I highly recommend it. If you're out there and you're looking for a new series to watch, I think there's 7 seasons, 6, 7 seasons. I think it's done with.
It's done now. I think, and if you have any bit of tech in you, it's one of those things where it's like The Office, right? The Office is over the top with stupidness in an office environment. This show is over the top with stupidness and how startups and how tech and the technology and how it works. I think there's so much stuff. I think regardless of where you sit, it's funny. And like I said, as the tech geek in me just loves the stuff that's actually close to real.
There were times that I can't drink anything when I watch it because you don't know what's going to happen.
Of course you can. Don't you ever say things like that.
No, I mean you can drink, but not like you have to wait till like scene changes and things of that nature.
I have learned that as much as I enjoy it, because I'm a newcomer to, I've never actually smoked weed. I've done the gummies as of recently, and Cory was telling me about this vessel pen thing like that. It's basically smoking it without the smoke. And so I'm a big fan of it, like the effects. And the cool thing about that is they're short term, as opposed to the gummies that, you're in it for the ride. And I will say this, that I have to stop. I try not to drink any time during the week to cut calories, because I know that we're going to be idiots on the weekend. And so I'll try and hit the vape. And I really have to stop because it's almost like an Etch-a-Sketch. Like, I thoroughly enjoy it. And then I'm like, wait, what did I have to watch? What did I watch? And for the life of me, I feel like I'm, 87 because I'm like, I know I watched the whole thing from start to finish, but I could not tell you what it was. So I'll have to look back at the jacket, like the movie jacket, like on Netflix or something, be like, oh, yeah. Or sometimes, if it's bad enough, even be like, I should just probably watch this again because I literally don't remember it. Like,
so now it's basically you get an insight into Bob's life.
Nope.
Yeah. So if that's the way he is all the time,
just forgetting everything.
Yes.
Oh my! I can't even imagine that. I can't even imagine that. So, Greg, so long and the short of it, you liked it.
I do. It's solid A.
Wow. Thank you.
I
don't ever give him solid A's. He doesn't give A's to anyone.
I know, but it really. I like comedies. It did what it was
delivered.
supposed to do. Yeah, it delivered. I do highly recommend it if you're out there and you like the kind of the techie geeky kind of thing. computer stuff. And the Guilfoyle character is probably my favorite character. He's just too much. The way he messes with a couple of the guys there is just like. But
That's awesome. And
Yeah.
it was, what was the name of it again?
Silicon Valley.
Silicon Valley. Where is it available?
It is on HBO Max.
Okay. Cool. So moving right along, we're going to go to Cory this time.
This is Spinal Tap from Bob, I believe.
This goes to it goes to 11.
Yeah, it's-
Do you want to?
yeah, before,
Did you pour me a half shot?
I did. But yeah, Todd, before I do my review here, we got another shot to do.
We have a sneaky suspicion it might be like a half of a Nick review, which is going to be very long. So we'll cheers
it'll
and
be
do
that.
this before.
Oh,
Cheers, boys.
Cheers.
Hang on. Damn it.
oh,
Hold on.
I got it. I'm ready. I'm ready.
Cheers.
cheers.
Sanja.
Todd, I will say this. I like that shirt. I don't know who the Mariners are, but I like it.
Thank you.
Mariners.
The
Killing
Raiders.
me.
Seattle, I get it. Yeah. All right, Cory. Take it away.
Well, and speaking of too, looking at Todd's shirt, I realized you had a Kraken shirt on a couple episodes ago,
I did.
and I didn't pick up on it until I was editing everything. So that's a very nice nice T-shirt you had, sir.
I'm a hockey guy, man.
I mean, Bob Probert wouldn't necessarily agree, but
Neither would Dallas Drake. I'm like,
Dallas- or Bob, I'm sure if Bob Asenza was there in part of the conversation, he wouldn't have cared much either. But
Either Bob is or Todd is not wrong about Bob Asenza. Okay, he had a 5-month stretch where he was okay, and that was the extent of his career.
I mean, another story for another time.
Yes.
But so anyways, yeah, I had this is Spinal Tap. It's a mockumentary on a rock band from England called Spinal Tap. And I mean, if you like music, you like comedy, you like documentaries, it's all those thrown into one. Absolutely hilarious. A lot of good lines. It's basically like if you were to like The Last Waltz, which I know Nick had at one point. It's just making fun of all those kind of documentaries about these bands and you know the life they live and lead and all that. But I think the 11 line was good, but I think the one that really got me was when they were talking about their drummers and all their drummers have died in the past, and they were talking about I can't remember his name, but they're like, oh yeah, he spontaneously combusted on stage. Like no, there's documented cases. The problem is a lot of people don't report it, so it's not well known. And I just lost it. I'm like, oh my god! I'm like, so these guys are telling this documentarian that. Basically, a member of theirs just spontaneously combusted on stage, and no one even batted an eye. There was a little green glob on his drum set, and that was about the last of him. Like, no, it wasn't really a glob; it was more of a stain. But it was a little green stain. That's all that was left of him. So it's absolutely hilarious. And Bob, besides having to track it down on fucking Redbox.
I was gonna say,
Yeah, dude, I had to download the Redbox app, create a login.
That's funny.
And then still pay $2.99 for it. So
That's funny.
yeah, luckily,
It makes sense you can't find it, but that is an all-time classic, dude. That is a classic.
yes.
Oh no, I absolutely loved it. So good pick on Bob's behalf. I'll have to get with him and give my my review to him.
Yeah, I will say God bless you guys because I feel like the last 7 movies I've had to watch cost me $3.99 a piece, and I keep liking them, so it pisses me off because I'm like, I want some money back.
First for this.
Yeah, I want some money back.
And like I said, I wasn't even pissed about the $2.99. I was more pissed about having to track it down. And when I pulled it up on Just Watch, it was like, good luck. All right,
It should be on every streaming service. It should be.
You would think. I mean, it's not. I guarantee it would have views and people would watch it. So
100%. 100%.
It wouldn't be wasting a lot of space on their server. But yeah, I don't know why. I don't know why it's not available everywhere. But good pick, Bob.
All right.
I'm glad for Bob that you like it because I think that is hilarious.
I think he knew what he was getting himself into, and it was right up my my alley with the comedy and the mockumentary aspect.
But it goes to 11.
That's so ridiculous. It's good.
We talked enough about things going up your alley last week, Cory. So let's move on. So I had Ganglands from Greg on Netflix, and synopsis kind of reminded me of Training Day / a couple different Denzel movies, like the movie where he had to get the girl back. What was that one?
Man on Fire.
Yeah, Man on Fire. Same kind of principle. It is dubbed, right, Greg?
It's got
French, right?
It's I know. I think.
Yeah, I think it's originally French.
Yeah, and it's dubbed, but their voice. It's a voiceover dub. It's so bad.
Right. So it's not horrible. So you can choose subtitles, but basically kind of the same premise, which I was super torn because I really enjoyed like the action aspect of it, but the slowly becoming more exposed to movies portion of me, which with my very, very limited knowledge, wanted to be like, okay, this is kind of the same action flick storyline. Like
it's a very typical storyline of a lot of a
girl gets abducted, guy goes rogue, and he's gonna single-handedly fix this and kill a bunch of people. And very cool. I still really enjoyed it. I got through 3 episodes and started the 4th. I'm pretty sure I'm going to keep moving on with it. I would say C+, B- range for me.
I was going to say, watch the whole thing and then tell me what you think, because
afterwards,
I see where you're going, and I don't want to like.
Yeah, you don't want to say like, oh, it gets much better than that.
Yeah, I would watch the rest of it and be like, hey man, you can text me, just be like, dude, and just tell me.
Yeah, I will. I'll keep moving along with it, but I enjoyed it thus far. But I know from experience there's so many things I've told Cory about and things like that, and Bob and Todd, that first couple episodes just don't hook me, and then you get into like 4 and 5 and you're like, okay. Unfortunately, with Cory, after getting into like season 4 of Lost on his own regard, he still didn't like that. But
yeah, that sucked dick.
That was to prove a point. But different strokes, right?
That's like Breaking Bad. It's like the first season is trash, and then after that, it's great.
Oh man, but Breaking Bad was awesome. I still think, Cory, you haven't seen that, right?
I have not.
Breaking Bad. No, I absolutely
Wow.
love Breaking Bad, but the first season is trash.
Oh, fantastic.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Like, you talking about like stuff that.
I get your point, but I know eventually it's gonna come down the pipe, and I'm gonna have to watch it. So
I know you very
tonight maybe
answered me.
Yeah,
You're like, oh yeah, that's right.
Well, I always have a problem because my film jacket is very, very limited. And
you don't say.
But with
Get out.
like my arch nemesis isn't even Bob, because there's certain things that I watch that Bob just doesn't. But Cory is a very avid, like, not even like he's like a movie guy per se, but he buys a lot of idle time with playing movies, and he's able to with certain jobs that he's had in the past and things like that. He's worked in certain situations where he can very efficiently still work and keep a movie going somewhere in the background, and it's been situations where it's been acceptable. And so he's just burned through a lot of stuff that's mainstream available. So I'll get to Cory and I'll be like, how about this? He's, oh, yeah. I'm like, this? Go, dude, come on, give me something difficult. And so I'm like, I hate getting Cory.
I also stay up till like 5 in the morning, so I'll be able to knock out 3 or 4 movies between getting home and being up that late.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm building a movie theater and basically in my back bedroom
Toot, toot.
that I have, so I get it. I understand.
Was anything about that comment not leading right back to you? So I get it, because I'll have my own theater here soon. Totally get it, man.
Can't wait. I'm with Cory.
Todd's like, I don't know if you guys know about my 17 TVs, but but
Hey,
anyhow.
when we do the podcast out on the West Coast, I'll expect Greg to be here.
Yeah.
next summer.
when is absolutely the correct statement, because it will happen.
As long as I have enough time, I can take off of work and kind of,
So
make that happen.
So yeah, C+, B- for Ganglands, available on Netflix. I will continue with it. Greg, I'll let you know. Todd,
right.
what did you have, buddy?
I had, and I don't remember who assigned it to me, but Searching for Sugar Man.
I did.
Well, that makes sense, Mr. Documentary.
There you go.
And, well, Nick, you said it. I don't give out many A's, and I'm giving out another one. And I think Cory has hit 2 in a row.
Moses, smell the roses.
Is this 2 in a row for me?
I think it is. What was the last one you assigned to me?
Ah, dude, come on.
Unbanned.
Yes,
You gave
unbanned.
me
Yes.
Yes. So you got 2 A's in a row, because the documentary, Searching for Sugar Man, the 30-second synopsis, if you don't know who Sixto Rodriguez is, you are probably not odd. But holy cow, Detroit native, amazing musician, one of the co-founders of Motown, said of all the talent that went through Motown, he was top 5, maybe better, probably better than Elvis. And in fact, Sixto Rodriguez, more popular than Elvis and the Beatles, even in South Africa. So the synopsis is this: it's a true story. This artist, for whatever reason, extremely talented. I actually listened to his music most of the day today, and it is amazing for that late '60s era music, rock and roll, bluesy, heavy blues overtones. Basically, for whatever reason, for unknown reasons, he was not a commercial hit in the United States. He did not catch on. People didn't buy his stuff. And so while he languished and did hard physical labor, he was like an excavation engineer is the wrong word. He was like a laborer, and he actually still does heavy, hard manual labor for a job to make ends meet. Yet while he was doing that, there were rumors about him that he had died. There was a rumor that he played a song at a concert venue, and he shot himself in the head because nobody applauded, or he he doused himself in fire. There's like all these urban myths about how he died. The guy's actually still alive, 79 years old, lives in the Motor City. Turns out people thought he was dead, and he sold 500,000 albums in South Africa. And he was there. Janis Joplin, Bob Dylan. He was writing songs protesting inequity and things that are wrong in our society. Dude, I listened to it today, and I think I'm a classic rock fan, but I was like, I heard every bit. I listened to two of his albums that I know about, and I didn't hear a song that I thought was horrible. I thought one song was over-engineered, but the guy's got the voice, he's got the deal, and he's actually been performing concerts live. Solid A. So more than 30 seconds. If you haven't heard of him and you don't have the 2 albums, you should get them. You should watch this documentary, because we have, again, a music legend that for whatever reason turned out not to be popular in the United States. And
huge, so big in South Africa.
It's like David
I was
Hasselhoff.
going to say, it sounds like the German Hasselhoff.
Yeah, unbelievable.
But the music stands up. Like that's the weird thing. Like today, like I said, I heard the songs on the documentary, and I'm like, this is good stuff. And so today, I immediately went to Amazon Music. I had to make a drive at a dentist appointment. It's about a 40-minute drive. So I listened to him all the way there, all the way back. When I got home, I was actually doing work, and I'm listening to him, and I'm like, this is really, really good music. I mean, there are 4 or 5 songs that are as good as any classic rock songs out there, period.
Wow.
And I'm glad you liked it, man, because listening to your review kind of gave me chills, and because watching the movie or documentary, it was the exact same thing. Like when they come across that he was still around and alive, like I was like, wow, this is honest to God the truth of his legacy.
And I was pissed. I don't know. There's no spoilers here, but the thing that people won't necessarily get based on my review is, by the way, because he wasn't a commercial hit in the United States, the 500,000 albums that he sold in South Africa, he netted zero money. And then they talked to the Motown exec who actually owned the contract, and then he gave the mealy mouth excuses to how the money got siphoned off, and he didn't get any money either. But clearly people profited off this guy, because this guy, and that's the other thing that's not known, again, and I know I'm going over my 30 seconds, but South Africa during apartheid, there were a number of people who wanted to be allies for the black people in Africa, but they couldn't. The penalties for supporting anti-apartheid movements in South Africa were so steep. But this music was like, no, screw that. Do the right thing. The man shouldn't get. And literally, South African government was buying his albums and then physically making it so that they couldn't play certain songs that actually had really solid messages about how life should be. And again, the Motown exec used that as an excuse as to why nobody got paid. But literally, this guy should be a multimillionaire household name like Michael Jackson or Elvis or Janis Joplin. He should be that. And nobody's heard of Sixto Rodriguez. And he lives in the Motor City.
Yeah, I haven't. That's for sure. I mean, he's no Hasselhoff. I mean, he can't even walk down the street in Berlin.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Oh, that's with him in South Africa. It's the exact same thing. Like why his music got picked up on, so much there, and didn't catch on here like it should have, is absolutely.
It feels like the fix is in, because especially being the one thing that really stood out to me is the people who critiqued him in the U.S. They did not say, "Oh, it was just a style thing." They were saying that of the people that they had seen, and the Motown executive, he was top 5. He was above Elvis.
Come on.
That's what professionals were saying about his talent. And quite honestly, when I listened to his 2 albums today, I'm like, yeah, the music sounds like what I would expect to hear between 1968 and 1975 on the radio, and it's as good or better than anything out there.
Yeah, Todd, but did you like it?
Loved it.
All right.
Yeah, I want to say A+, solid A.
Fair
All right,
enough.
Jorge Guadalupe. If you guys are looking into that artist, that's his name.
Jesus Christ. Way to take away from that one.
Moving along.
Sixto
Yeah, right.
Rodriguez.
All right. So moving along, new assignments. New assignments for... Oh, it's the MF and Gentleman's Agreement. Oh, forgot that Bob put that little gem together. So new assignments are going to be, Todd, you've got me.
Sweet.
I have Greg. Greg has Cory. Cory has Todd.
Oh, man. Another one. Okay. All right.
Yep. So let that, does anybody need some time to let that marinate?
I need a second.
You need a second.
I got a couple things. I'm trying to figure out if I want to give you a series or a movie.
Okay. So I can go first for Greg.
Yes.
Which I don't know. You've probably seen this before, but Dave Chappelle's new special on Netflix.
Yep.
Okay. Did everyone see that?
It's fantastic.
Okay. Shut up. It hasn't been assigned to you yet.
Okay, fine.
Have you seen I Buried My Heart at Wounded Knee?
No.
Watch it.
What's it on?
God, now. It may be a rental on Amazon. It's a little bit of an older movie, but I'm sure it'll let you know right on Google.
I'll take a look.
Bury My Heart at Wounded Knee. Looks like these are just. It looks like Audible, Kindle Store, Barnes and Noble. These are the books, but anyhow, look it up. I'll find it. You'll find it. Anyone else want to go?
I can go.
Oh,
go ahead, Cory.
No, go ahead.
I was going to ask Nick. Nick, have you seen American Sniper?
No.
Holy fuck. God damn it, dude. I get so pissed when you say these things.
What are you pissed about?
That you haven't seen.
So good.
Okay.
Fuck, I haven't. Good job, Todd. I haven't even thought
Thank
about thinking about assigning that because I
Movies
just
that you
assumed.
think that everybody's seen.
Yeah, that's just something like, dude, run of the mill. He's had to have seen it. Holy shit. Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
I'm done.
So I'm guessing I have American Sniper. All right. So,
You do.
all right.
Todd, have you seen White Boy?
You know what? I have not seen it. It's on my list of things to watch. So
guess what,
thank you
buddy?
for signing it. I'm
Time
getting
to
it.
check it out.
I feel like you watch
all
it
right.
every weekend.
White boy Rick, right?
Yes, sir.
I got it.
I'm
All right.
trying to play off of you liking Sixto Rodriguez that much.
Sweet. Yeah, 'cause I know that's a true story too. Yeah. I actually that's been on it has been on my list of things to watch for a while, but this podcast thing has really made it difficult to watch my my personal to watch list.
Todd, you understand you have hours and hours and hours throughout your week that you are not working.
I do.
And you've got 2 hours of potential podcast homework.
Hang on. No, this
I don't know what you're.
I feel like we're fortunate enough to have Todd here, and he's squeezing us in because the schedule is so busy.
Absolutely, I wholeheartedly agree with the new dog and wonderful wife that he has,
And 12 chickens.
the helicopter and the
12
chickens and
chickens.
the PVC adjustments for the coop. I mean, we are pretty lucky, I would say.
Which Danielle was very impressed by the look of the new puppy already.
That's a big pup.
He's 92 pounds. He's 92 pounds as of yesterday.
Yeah, I get updates.
No offense,
Five and a
I
half months.
I know people don't think I'm the biggest dog fan, but I don't think it's really too hard to impress Cory and Danielle with dogs. I mean, I'd be more surprised if they were like, "Dude, I told Danielle about your dog," and she was like, "Not for me. It must be for Todd." But but every dog is like a beautiful creature. Like it's the best dog in the world. No
They're
offense,
awesome
Todd,
beings.
because you have a super cool dog.
They're awesome beings, and I know. And it's funny. I always tell Mary, I'm like, we are very much biased. We always think that our dogs are beautiful because they're your dogs. But Bo is pretty amazing, and he's pretty unique. You don't see very many kind of Corsos out there, so. He's been a joy, and we are not accustomed to having a dog. Max is 130 pounds. Roddy's grow for 2 full years, and Max didn't finish filling out for about 2.5 years. So to have a puppy that is 5.5 months old, that is 92 pounds and skinny as a rail, is really weird.
So we've had talks, and before next week we're gonna have a podcast meeting, and we're gonna talk about potential segments. We maybe come full circle.
My dog.
I've
been working on that. I haven't gotten to the Funko this where I crack myself up yet with what I got going, but I am working on that actively.
Yeah, I would appreciate some, and we'll get back to Greg's, but I would appreciate maybe some barking in the background.
I already got that. Bark Trek's already gotten here.
Bark tracks. Okay, we can't top bark tracks.
All
So, Greg, you have an assignment for Cory.
Have you seen Sandcastle?
Don't believe I have. It doesn't sound familiar.
It's on Netflix.
All right,
Good old
then
Netflix.
Sandcastle it shall be. Who?
I think that's everybody. Is that everybody?
Oh yeah, because they
think
have
it'd
Bob
be.
without
Yeah.
Bob.
No B.O.B. Terrible. Nick and his. I don't want any more. No topics.
I'll take none of that, please.
Yes. And speaking of dogs,
Yeah, there we go.
Oh yeah, I got multiple bark checks going. If you could, it's funny. I have a little. I've been actually trying to get up my my game here because the gentleman's agreement that Nick did because I didn't get my assignment done is so fabulous. I'm like, I got to go over the top.
So I'm running to get shots, and I'm just looking at Cory and Greg, who are just have a look on their face like any sort of helicopter pilot just parachuted out of the cockpit, and I'm just hearing silence, and I'm like, God, please hope. I really hope Todd's saying something right now, and they're not just playing barking noises and just staring at computers.
No, Todd.
Of
course I was yammering.
Thanks, Todd. I appreciate that, brother. I'm trying to like motion to them. I mean, you'd think that I was trying to SOS by the way my arms were going, and neither of them were paying attention.
We got this.
We know what we're doing.
Okay.
It was fine.
Say something.
I was more looking at you like, God damn, here comes some more fireball.
I just
look.
didn't want to get. Sometimes Cory gets into a rabbit hole where he's like,
Oh, let's find out. See if it's on Google.
and then he'll just go click, 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 click,
And
click.
we're all sitting here listening.
Yeah. And I'm like, okay. Even when Bob's here, sometimes he gets drawn in and he's like, yeah, Cory's going to look it up for us. And then he stops and I'm like, okay, we're on an audio podcast. And he's like, oh yeah. So I can't imagine anything better than listening to someone Google something. So moving right along, we can go next to either back to some 100 questions. We'll save Todd's celebrity encounters for another week because I don't know why we've hidden that gem in your asshole, but that was fucking fantastic. And even not liking sports, I know Bob Probert, and I think that's awesome. And I would like to know more about that. But
Can I throw out a complaint too though before you get to before you pick your other segment things? So remember we were talking about people driving in the left lane who should get over, and then they cock block you so you can't pass them, and then because they go faster. There's another road phenomena I want to complain about.
okay,
And it's the exact opposite of that. Recently I've been having to drive, and I'm trying to get on these highways and merge in, and there are people driving like 51 miles per hour and a 60 in the right lane, and not moving when they're in the right lane when people are trying to merge on. And so you can't go fast enough to go around them, and you can't go slow enough. and like you end up merging onto the highway at like 47 miles per hour.
go ahead.
No, I was going to say, and then as I like floor it and burn a gallon of gas going, why are we going 47 miles per hour in a 60? Why do people drive under the speed limit on the highway? I just want to know that.
So I will honestly tell you that my absolute, don't even have to think about it.
Sorry, that's my Todd.
Yeah. Okay, so apparently someone just broke it into a Brinks truck. I don't know what that noise was, but my absolute biggest pet peeve, no questions asked, are people that feel they do not have to yield to merging traffic coming off of an on-ramp. And they just buckle down and stay in the right lane. And they're like, it doesn't matter. I mean, so basically you are accelerating to go from typically a residential speed or like a 45 mile an hour road speed to like a 70 mile an hour speed.
Yep.
And it's like you're a plane taking off.
When you're going down the speed chute,
yes,
you need that room to merge.
Yeah, we call it the on-ramp in the States,
it's a
but
speed chute.
I'm not sure. But yeah, the point of that on-ramp is to gain speed to get on the expressway. And
yes.
The law stipulates that you are to yield to oncoming traffic from the on-ramp. And so just as if you were in the left lane, the passing lane, that you are to yield to anyone behind you that would like to pass. It's not your constitutional right to drive the 70 miles an hour and people need to go around me. No, they've found that it causes more accidents for people to try and pass on the right instead of passing on the left when they should. So the left lane should be kept for just passing. Much like that, if someone comes up riding your ass, regardless of whatever their speed they're going, if you're in the left lane, get the fuck over to the right because is not your right to stay in that lane. It is a passing lane, and it causes more accidents for you to stay in that lane than it would for you to not even be in it at all. But much like that, the oncoming traffic coming from a residential area is trying to gain speed to a highway speed. And when they're coming at, inching their way up like a runway, like a tarmac, like imagine if you were getting to that speed where you're about to take flight and another plane just turned right into the runway and was like, oh, my right, too bad, you're going to have to slow down. Like, no, that's not the way it goes. We're launching a car here.
Dude, it's funny you mentioned this today because this week on the way to work, I did see a van literally stopped at the bottom of an on-ramp getting on to 696. Yeah, and I was like, holy shit. I'm like, oh, I so wish I could stop just to see this car get ass-packed so hard.
Dude, the worst, and it doesn't happen often because they're typically professional drivers. But there are some circumstances where I like to give the benefit of the doubt and not think that they're hedonistic. But when a semi-truck driver is in the right lane, and because it's literally a 20-foot wall that you're going to run into, like, hey, imagine when you get to that 70 mark and now there's no more road left. If I put a big wall in front of you, that makes no sense. And you've got people behind you, so it's not something like where you're at a four-way stop where you come to a stop sign and then you gain speed again. Like, so there is.
I give it up to this. I never blame it on the semi-truck drivers. That happens if you get behind a semi. I get it. I'm like, they're trying to come up to speed and they can't actually gun it because, to your point, if traffic is stopped in front of them, they're screwed. But I'm not talking about the semi coming on the on ramp in front of you. Like, I get that, it sucks. It's like, being behind an old man. But
I would assume for them too, like especially a place like Southfield Freeway, or even 94 for that matter. Like getting on there, they're probably like, oh my god, I hate doing this, because they know they're not going to be able to pick up speed the way cars are already on the freeway. So I'm sure to them it's not any fun either. But
when
they have size on their side.
When it's when the freeway's absolutely packed and the semi's in the right lane and you almost fucking smack into them, I'm credit where credit's due. I'm like, I get this. You're too big to move over. You can't. So you can only do so much. But either step on the brakes or accelerate a little bit. But even then, I don't give them shit. My problem is when the left and middle lane are clear and the semi in the right lane is just listening to Eastbound and Down by the Allman Brothers and just fucking going 60 right at the same time that he's covering, like eclipsing that on-ramp. And man, oh man, I swear to God, if that road is running out and that happens, I will gun it on the shoulder and lay on my horn and swerve in front of that fucking semi. And they look at you like, what's going on? What is this guy so mad about? Like, I'm like, get the fuck, you're a wall. You're a moving wall. Get the fuck over, you dick. Yep. And I can never see them because they're too high up and it pisses me off. But I give them the benefit of the doubt most of the time unless it's clear.
9 times out of 10, yes. I'm the same way.
Yeah.
If I'm going down the ramp and it's like, okay, there's plenty of room for you to get over. Please get over. And then they don't. And you're like, okay, you're stuck in that mode. Like, oh, do I gun it and hope I don't drive down the rumble strips for quarter mile, or do you
where all the broken car parts are?
Yeah.
And nails. Yeah. And fucking deer carcasses. Yeah.
That and again, my recent, I've had that issue, and secondarily people who want to merge onto the highway going 50 miles per hour. I'm like, dude, you're merging on. It's going to be 70. Why are we going 35? Come on, we're halfway down the ramp. We're still going 40. Come on now.
That drives,
oh my goodness,
that drives me insane. And as I've talked before, what also drives me crazy is, the rare moment that I'm actually in a personable mood, which I typically hate people, and I'm not. But that I'm in a personal mood, and whether you're in the left lane, the right lane, whatever it may be, and I'm like, well, I'm just going to I don't care, whatever. I'm going to get around you. And it upsets the driver, the slow driver. It upsets them when you go around them. And as you go around them, they accelerate. And I'm like, what? This makes zero logical sense. Like, there's nothing logical about what is happening right now. This is not a competition. I'm not going to win a cash prize. Like, if you wanted to go that slow and I was nice enough to turn the other cheek, even though you're doing something illegal, and then I go around you and you're like, oh, no, you don't. Oh, no, you don't.
I love when people do that to me, because then I do get in front of them, because I'm that asshole that'll do 100 down the freeway and not give two shits, and then I get in front of them and then slow down to 60, and then I won't let them try to pass me.
But I absolutely love the person that is in the left lane or wherever it may be, and they know you're gridlocked. You've got 2 semis in the next 2 lanes. And they are just driving Miss fucking Daisy.
Yeah.
68.
Yeah.
And then magically, when finally you inch your way past this wall of trucks and it's open, their accelerator works again. They all start, all of a sudden they start going 79. And you're like, oh, because now you know I can pass you? You dick.
I'll still pass them.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Dude, I would go 100 to pass them.
Oh, yeah. Every time.
And there you have Traffic Wars, our new segment.
Yeah. That's what really grinds my gears.
I wanted to get that complaint out there. I just had to. I'm like, this week has been horrible for that for me.
Yeah, it really enrages me. I get road rage, and I'm not confrontational in that aspect, but it takes a lot. But that can, I will kick a kitten through an electric fan at that point.
I brought it up because today I had a dental appointment, and again they used the wrong thing on me. But I go to my dentist today, and the hygienist goes, "I'm gonna get your blood pressure, Mr. Dillon," and I'm like, and it's a 40 minute drive from my house. All highway, and people doing dumbassery. And she's like, your blood pressure's 247 over 200. Is that normal for you? Like,
yes.
She's like,
at this point,
like,
only when I'm driving.
She's like, she's like, we've dialed 911 because we think that you're gonna have a heart attack. And I'm like, she's like, was traffic bad? I'm like, this asshole was driving 57 miles per hour in the right lane. I couldn't merge. And then like 10 minutes later, she's like, oh, your blood pressure is 120 over 80. I go,
hey, you're
like,
right.
now I'm good.
I would honestly at that point, I don't want to have to shoot people. So I would rather have a tarantula lay eggs in my ears than have to fucking deal with another second of that bullshit.
When I used to drive down Warren Avenue a lot, I would have, especially in the wintertime, I would keep a case of water in the back of my car. And the bottles would freeze.
You just chunk them at people's windows?
Oh, yeah. I just throw them at people because, like, I don't want to shoot anybody.
Yeah.
That's not what
But
I
if they skid off the road because a rogue water bottle cracks their windshield and they can't see and they kill themselves,
I mean,
then
if you
just
really
natural selection.
Exactly. If you really want to get people, get some WD-40, and if you got like a sunroof and people are giving you problems behind you, just spray that out there. Like on the windshield, they're trying to spray it. It doesn't come off with windshield wiper fluid.
Hey, just so you know, for us motorcyclists out there, Greg, that's also bad. We don't need anything slickery on our two tires.
I'm just saying for cars.
But I will tell you a nice little trick that's not a huge inconvenience, but it's very hysterical to watch. If somebody is absolutely riding your ass to the point where you can't even see their headlights, they're so far up your fucking ass in their car, just hit your washer fluid. Just hold it down and hit it, and all of a sudden they start swerving and they back up and their wipers start going left and right, and it's the best when they have a shiny new car because it's just amazing. You know they don't want any water spots, but amazingly enough, it backs them right up. So moving along, we're gonna do.
You just taught me something.
Oh, dude, it's fun because I just
left lane dickheads do that to me all the time.
I'm
like,
time.
You fucker! You're getting fucking washer fluid over my cleanly washed Corvette. You fuck stick! Get out of the get out of the left lane.
You know what's really cool? just take some blue food coloring and just make that washer fluid dark as fuck.
Oh boy!
Spray it right back because it's not gonna hurt the car. Just spray it right back, dude. I feel like James Bond with an oil slick. It's an amazing feeling. Just watch their wipers go on. So moving on, we're going to do this Schnozzcast shot. And then we're going to wrap it up with pick of the week.
Cheers.
Salute.
How much time we got, Cory?
We still got about another 15 minutes.
Another 15?
Yeah.
Okay, so before pick of the week, we can do a couple more questions. So we'll go to everyone for this question. Would you rather eat a raw egg or a raw steak, and why? Cory.
I'm going to say egg.
A raw egg?
Yeah.
What kind of steak we talking about?
Whatever you want. It could be Wagyu.
I'll probably just do the egg. It's smaller, quicker.
So not a
swallow it.
Not a steak.
Oh my goodness, you guys are missing it.
First of all, never had it. Never had it.
Steak tartare?
Steak tartare, I would definitely do.
Fabulous.
Is it really?
Fabulous? Yes.
Dude,
and I've had both. I've had a raw egg. I've had many raw eggs, and I've had raw steak. And if you get a really good steak, that's actually as a child, my parents, steak to us was like round steak, so it was never ever quality steak. So they were always cooked until they were almost leather. But when I actually finally had a steak that was prepared properly, I'm like, wow, I really like medium rare steaks. But when I actually had a really, really good steak from a good quality butcher, I actually had a raw cut of a porterhouse, the strip side, very lean, solid steak, and I had that raw, and it was fabulous.
I would say if it was served up like sashimi, very thinly cut in a way, and they prepared it with certain acids or things like that to actually cook the meat without cooking it. Whether it be however they do it, but I feel like in tartare they mix some kind of acid with it to kind of
they mix acids with the tartare and some oils. But here's the other. And by the way, I get the question is, you'd eat whole steak that way, but if you had a piece of steak of a really good steak that was cooked, that was not cooked at all, I think that's still way better than the raw egg. And like I said, I've had raw eggs. Once you get past the first 2 times you do it, you want to throw up just because of the feeling of it. The flavor is fine, but yeah.
So
steak's my go-to.
Yeah, I would probably say the same thing. For me, raw egg and raw chicken is one of the most disgusting smelling things in the world, food wise. And if I ever needed some assistance one night with a rumbling tummy and I wanted to make myself throw up, that's all I have to think about is put some raw chicken or a raw egg in my mouth, and I'll be like, "Blop!"
I was going to say raw chicken will make you sick for longer. Raw egg, if that's going to get you to throw up, that's actually, as long as it doesn't have salmonella, you're good.
Yeah,
but actually,
it's a roll of the dice.
The other thing I'd say with that though is a lot, and I think a lot. I am sad for all the people who haven't discovered that having a piece of a solid piece of pork, not ground pork, but pork, medium rare, is actually really solid as well.
So surprisingly enough, like as much as I've been dabbling in the culinary arts, like I just can't. It's a taste thing. I can't, other than bacon or like pulled pork or something like that. Like I've never been like a pork tenderloin or a pork chop kind of person. Like it just doesn't do anything for me.
We're going to send the chopper out, and I'm going to show you pork 17 ways, and I'm going to change your world.
I hope so. I would love to like it, because it's a very common thing. But, I never grew up in a pork chop family. I feel like that I had parents that grew up with pork chops. So they were like, oh, God, this is the last thing we're going to cook.
Dude,
my parents... a lot of people cooked it really poorly. My parents didn't do a great job with it. Fortunately, I had other family members who cooked pork properly. And then, again, after going to a really good... I remember being... I brought the waiter back. I had a medium rare steak, a pork steak somewhere, and I'm like, hey, this isn't done. I'm gonna get sick. He's like, no. If you don't like it, we can cook it more, but give it a taste. And I'm like, oh my God, I didn't know. It's all about the bacteria effect. And if it's a hunk of meat, not ground meat, just like hamburger, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna get sick. You can eat a raw steak. It's all about where the bacteria can get to, and the inner parts of a good pork loin or chunk of high quality pork that's seasoned up right. Yeah, you can have it. You don't have to have it cooked to leather like consistency.
It's just so crazy. I mean, the reason that so many cultures like don't even eat cooked pork is, pigs are something that, that they used to.
Not for nothing.
Yeah,
because pigs root around their own shit. Here's my counter to that now. So now that I'm basically a chicken farmer, mm-hmm. If you don't think that chickens are filthy animals,
I'm basically a chicken farmer.
Okay, until you chop one's head off and eat it, you're not a chicken farmer.
I'm like, chickens are, dude.
You're an egg farmer.
Chickens are filthy beings.
Dude, why do you think we have bird flus and all that other stuff? I mean, it's disgusting. Yeah, I get it. Chickens eat ticks and eat gravel.
They eat ticks. They
all that
actually
shit.
Mary was pissed at me this week because normally when you walk through my lawn, you could pick up a slug every 15 feet at the most. God, we have huge slugs out here in Washington. But anyway, we couldn't find it in our yard. We were out walking the dogs the other day, and there's a school that we go to, and they have thousands of them. So I picked up 7 or 8 slugs, brought them back for my chickens out in the coop, and the funniest thing happened. I don't know if they like the taste as much as they like when slugs are alarmed, they emit this goo that's sticky, and I think it tastes really bad, but I don't think chickens taste it. But the chickens were loving the fact that they had that goo all over their beaks and shit was sticking to it, and they're freaking chasing each other around. Dude, I put fresh basil, fresh parsley. Oh, they're like, chickens love fresh herbs and vegetables. Dude, I've been putting more fresh vegetables in the coop than anybody can imagine. And they're like, no, we don't like this. But as soon as they got that goop from those slugs on their beaks, they're freaking insatiable. And these little velociraptors destroyed all 7 slugs I put in there. So I can't wait. Literally, it's like piranhas now. I'm like, I can't wait to find more slugs.
You should buy those mealworms, like those feeder mealworms, and just.
So here's the funny thing. I bought I have grubs. I have packaged grubs. Now here's the funny thing, and actually I'll send you guys over the video.
Who does?
I have packaged grubs, and my older chickens, my first 6 that are out in the coop, they don't seem.
Your big cocks, right?
They're big cocks. They don't seem to care for them particularly.
He's like, it's like a rusty rake saying this right now. He's like,
yeah, the big. But get this though. I will send you the video over. When I put the grubs in with my new 3-day-old chickens, actually today is Saturday, so they're 4 days old. Dude, it was like giving a bunch of businessmen rails of cocaine. They could not get enough of it. They're running around. If I'm going to send you the video, and it'll look like you'll think I sped it up. They're like little crackheads going crazy over grubs. So I'm like, I have my new fix for my little 4-day-old chicks. They love them grubs.
But the reason of why I'm so adverse to pork, I mean, it's mostly the flavor, but it's one of the few animals that, like, didn't they send in pigs to, like, take care of snake issues and things like that because the venom doesn't really affect them? And pigs have, instead of, like, bacteria and things like that going into their stomach and infecting them, pigs have, like, a waste chute that goes down through their hooves, and they, like, secrete any poison or waste
I have never
that
heard
goes
that.
into their body. Yeah, through this, like,
That sounds made up.
okay.
I mean,
I'm not saying you're wrong.
No,
So,
yeah.
hey, well,
probably
hold on,
right. I
and
just- I
quite
don't know.
honestly, if they are super beings that can expel any known toxin, you already named the main reason why pigs should exist and be bred in multitudes: bacon, back bacon, pancetta, pork loin,
Pork belly?
pork belly. Exactly.
We should.
The pig. I'm like, if it's done right, Nick. The fact that they root around in their own shit and they may be the superheroes of toxic waste.
Yeah.
That makes it all the better. I'm like, if they're the cockroaches of the frickin' livestock family, so be it.
So it says here that
tasty.
the pig is so poisonous and filthy that nature had to prepare a direct sewer line or canal running down each leg with an outlet at the bottom of the hoof. Out of this hole oozes pus, filth, and his body cannot pass into its system fast enough. So any kind of poisons or pus or infection that the pig deems unnecessary or might be horrible for them to digest, it just oozes out of their hooves into the mud. It said some
barbecued
pigs,
ribs,
it said some of this pus gets into the meat of the pig.
pulled pork.
People also ask, do pigs excrete waste? In addition to an adaptive
Bob Evans sausage.
in addition to an adaptive digestive system that supports opportunistic scavenging, pigs can excrete toxins through their hooves. So in the event that they do eat too much garbage, their bodies still have a backup plan to rid them of the poison.
That's what I'm talking about.
Which I think back in the day, why they used them to kill snakes. They'd go up to them, they'd grab them, and they'd shake them to death. And whether they got
a venomous bite to them wouldn't do anything.
it would just ooze out of their hooves.
Hey, Nick.
Yeah.
Being that you're a burgeoning culinary giant,
Yeah.
what's the preferred animal to find the best truffles in the world?
Oh, dude, of course pigs. Doesn't
There you
mean I do, and I love bacon. I'll eat the shit out of some bacon, but I will cook it.
We should.
But when you're like, oh, medium rare pork, and you see all these videos of these little worms coming out of fresh pork because of the parasites they can hold and not get sick from, like
Yeah, I didn't say
the
raw
part-
pork.
That's the part where I'm like, yeah,
I got you covered. I got you covered.
yeah.
We should do one of those. Go down to Texas and do one of the helicopter hog hunts.
That'd be awesome.
Oh, dude,
That's so.
with the wild boars, yeah.
They used to put a limit on stuff. It's unlimited now. They don't
Dude,
even. There's so
videos,
many.
There's videos everywhere of people just going crazy on those
Yeah.
things because there are so many of them.
Yep.
Todd, that'd be a good cook up right there.
Dude, like I said, I've cooked a suckling pig on my egg, and I would cook another one tomorrow if you guys bring it.
So we'll do this question. We'll do pick of the week, and we will wrap it up because I think we are about done, and we're out of time right now. But to make it a little bit more serious, what is the one defining feature that makes you an adult? The one defining feature that you could say, like, okay, this is my adult self. This is not something that was carried on for childhood. I will go first, and I will say that it took a long time for me to understand that I would normally say a man, but I would say a person is only as good as their word, and is the only thing that you're going to take with you when you die, because people aren't going to remember the money you had. People aren't going to remember, all these other things in your life, but they're going to say, hey, look, when I talked to Greg and Greg told me he was going to do something, it happened. And if he shook your hand and looked you in the eye, it was good as gold. And it's like a credit card, you're given that credit based on past history. So, not saying I have great credit because I don't, but as far as my word, I like to think that if I say something, it happens. But that's only something that I was able to understand as an adult. So that's my one thing.
I would think I'd still have to have the mindset of an adult yet to really know.
And a more honest answer could not be found for Cory Selesky.
So there you go.
Done. We're moving past you because there could not be a better answer for you.
Moving on.
What do you think, Todd?
I'd say it's not just about me.
Yeah. Selflessness.
I was going to say when you put somebody else's needs in front of your own.
Yeah. I think it's not just about me.
And that's outside of like romantic feelings for Mary, like for the commonality you have for another man or another woman.
Yeah, ultimately it was amplified. The pandemic amplified it. I think you get married and you're like, hey, I got to look out for Mary, and we don't have kids, we have dogs. And again, I know people think that animal people are crazy, but if you don't have kids, we do the same things that parents of real kids do. We actually assign that place in our lives for them. They're as important as anybody's kids that were birthed from them. So we do those things. And like I said, I knew that you're an adult. I remember I had dogs before I was an adult. I had a dog that had separation anxiety because it didn't exercise it enough, and it ran away, and I was hurt. But like looking back on it now, I was a shitty human being because I wasn't an adult yet. I did an adult thing. I took life's responsibility into my hands and fucked it up.
Well, it's kind of upsetting if you didn't exercise it enough and it ran away and you couldn't catch it.
No, well, there's a whole longer story around that.
Okay, well, don't depress us, Todd.
Yeah, it's a longer story about that. It didn't run away on my watch, although ultimately I bought the dog, so the blame that it didn't live its life with me is 100% my fault. But yeah, I think that's when I figured out that life was more about life, and getting things done was more than just about me. I think that's the defining moment as to when I became an adult.
Ain't all about you, sweetheart.
No, and like I said, even now, and I was referencing the pandemic, it's not even just about the people that are and beings that are in my home. It's about people who look like me or feel like me or have the same interests as me. And so it is imperative that we give back to everybody that we can, because we'll be enriched by it. So I think I'm still evolving as an adult, but once I figured out it wasn't just about me, I think I became an adult.
Eloquently put, sir. Greg, what about you, sir?
I kind of agree with Todd, almost to a point. Like,
Okay,
I
Bob.
Well, it's
No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
no, it's tough, right? So, it's
Greg,
when-
I think you would be the easiest. I'm sorry. I'm
Me?
not trying to cut you off, but knowing you
okay.
and knowing the stupid shit you did as a kid, like
Oh, I still do that
you,
stupid
but
shit.
not to that
But
extent.
no.
Not to that extent. I feel like it
guess-
would be an easy answer.
Well, no, because Todd went a little more elaborate. I was like, when you kind of put somebody else's needs, or maybe when you put the value on other things other than, say, money, like a monetary value on something, like somebody's friendship that you may take for granted. If I called you and was like, hey, man, I'm struggling with this project at the house. Can you come by? And you're like, yeah, I'll be over there in a minute. I think at that point is when you kind of become an adult. Like, oh, I can rely on somebody other than like, hey, I need to borrow some money.
Right.
It's kind of a, because I don't want to say, oh, you get your house, so you become an adult. That's not true.
But if I were to tell you, you have 3 people you can call on your phone, you would know those 3 people that you should call.
Oh yeah, 100%.
You know who would be there.
Yep.
And that's important, and that's an important part. So moving right along, we're gonna finish it out with pick of the week. We're going a little over on time, but that's okay. So pick of the week this week, Todd, do you have one, sir?
I do.
Start with you.
I do. And I don't know if there's a corollary to it, but have you guys heard of these new, and they're new, literally new, sugar bee apples?
No.
Here we go with the apples again.
Yeah, he's big on the apples.
Well, I am because again, as a foodie, I hated apples as a kid. If you told me I had to eat an apple, and so I think I shared this on the podcast. When I had my first Honeycrisp apple, I called my mother and cursed her out because I'm like, you bitch. You're going to be eating fucking Red Delicious, and there's an apple that actually tasted good? It's just like, I don't think that was invented yet. I think that this sugar bee apple was just invented, and get this, it is on par
Jesus Christ.
with the Honeycrisp and the Cosmic Crisp.
What?
And its retail price is like $1.99 a pound.
Yeah,
Dude.
that's why I literally just said holy fuck, because Greg literally just pulled up what it costs for a dozen, and right now what he found $59 for a dozen.
A dozen sugar bee apples?
Yes.
That's like the standard.
Well,
Yeah,
you bitches are struggling. It's $1.99 a pound up in here.
You know what's crazy though is that we look at that and we wag our finger, but we have no issue dropping $70 to buy a case of beer and some Fireball, like
Yeah,
at the liquor store on a weekly basis. Like, no, this could be something that you were like, yeah, I'm just gonna try this once. This is not like I'm buying this every fucking day or every fucking week. But it's just so funny, the stuff that we will spend our money on.
Well, not even that though. It resonates with me because of this. As we were kids, all of us can say that at some point during our lunch phase, our parents gave us apples to eat. And for most of my adult life, more than half of it, I have hated apples. I'm like, apples suck. I don't want an apple pie. Apples are horrible. And the only apple that I'll even give a little bit of a C- nod to is the Granny Smith, because it's got a little bit of character.
Tongue, sir. You hold your tongue on Granny Smiths. They are sour and delicious.
It's a solid C- apple. And I'm just saying, now that I've been pulled into, now that I've had and who knew that every year that people were going to design or invent a net new apple? This sugar bee apple is flying off the shelves at my local QFC because it's brand fucking new. They just said, you know what? People need an apple that tastes better than a Honeycrisp. And I'm like, no, sir. But we need one that's cheaper too. And I'm like, yes, sir. And so again, sugar
It's
bee
not cheaper.
in it. Well, for you, for me, it's $1.99 a pound.
Oh,
and
okay.
when I get some of that Kelly's bread, maybe I'll send a helicopter with some apples from here.
Katie's bread.
Katie's. Sorry, Katie. Well, I don't remember her name because she gave me bread. Thanks, Katie.
Thanks, Katie. Okay, so moving along to fiddle fingers over here. Cory, go ahead.
What was the question?
Yeah, your pick of the week.
Oh, that's right. No, my pick of the week is Wrangler ATG pants.
Oh, God.
They're, dude, best pants I've ever invested in. I've got 3 pairs now. Way better than jeans. Much more comfortable. Very durable. Very rugged. Water resistant. Wick any water right off.
Are they better than fire hose dungarees?
Oh yes. Oh God, yeah.
Dude, Todd, speaking of apples, you should see Cory in these pants. I'm telling you, man.
Apples and peas, baby. Apples and peas.
They are apples and peas and fucking little fucking Red Hot Franks.
My ass pops in them very well.
It's a little mushroom going on there.
So
He doesn't get them where they're a little baggy either.
no, got
They are painted on.
Little division sign up front.
Cory is I get it because Cory doesn't understand pants. Cory doesn't buy jeans. He doesn't wear jeans. His
Cory wears
life.
pants,
He came out of
shorts.
He came out of the womb in like shorts, and whether it was just excess skin or not, in the form of shorts, he was in shorts, and he's been in shorts ever since. So he's not a jeans kind of guy. He's not Neil Diamond. He's not thrown on the Wranglers, but he puts these on and he's very proud of himself. And I will say, aside from how fabulous his ass looks in these pants, they look pretty cool. They look like some pretty cool pants.
Oh, thank you, man. That means a lot coming from you.
Yeah,
actually.
I mean, because it's not.
Do you have them on now?
I do not. I have shorts on right now.
His shorts on, yeah.
I'm not a huge stray from the norm of jeans kind of guy when it comes to pants.
I never thought I would have been either.
But you hate jeans.
Well, I hate pants in general. But jeans are like the go-to thing because that's
Sergio Valentes.
that's
Valentes.
that's all. That was.
Valente.
Valenta.
But
Yeah.
finding these pants, game changer, absolute game changer.
Hotch cross.
Yeah. Hopscotch bun. So, dude, it's the podcast of slips of the tongue. So, we're going on to Greg.
I got nothing today.
You got nothing.
Oh, that's and we
sorry.
saved it
That's
for last.
anticlimactic.
You know what I think Greg's
You know-
is? I think Greg's is Katie's Bakery.
I'm actually I've done that before, but I'm staring
You
at that
son of a
bread.
bitch.
What about something from
Staring at that
TaylorMade?
bread right
What
now.
about something from TaylorMade, Greg?
If you are a golfer and you're looking for some new irons, some P790s or some P770s, depending on your style of golf, I really do recommend them. I
There you
managed
go.
to play a quick little round with them, and yeah, they're pretty nice. So
I'll say this: first time, short and sweet. It is a heated towel rack. I've had the experience of my uncle will buy certain things that he says are staples back home in the UK. That it's just not necessarily our first pick on things that we have standard here. And no matter the state of affairs of the house he moved into, it was one of the first things he had to get was a heated towel rack. So basically it's just, this form was just stainless steel with like 2 or 3 rungs. You can get them as high as you are tall. My understanding of them is that they produce a radiant heat as opposed to blowing heat. So just like a radiant heater, they're filled with an oil, so as it's not a fire risk, but it just looks like stainless steel bars connected to a rack, and this oil heats up inside, and this towel is the equivalent of taking a warm towel out of the dryer when you fucking
Hopscotch buns.
yeah. When you get out of the shower, it's super warm. It's awesome. They're really cool. I could give you a name brand, but just look it up on Amazon. They have a million different kinds. So heated towel rack. That's going to be my pick, and that's going to be episode 165 of the Schnozzcast. Right?
Yeah. That's it.
For Cory, Greg, and Mr. Todd Dillon, I'm Nick. Have a good night, everybody.